How's it going, everybody? This is Alex Caceres, and you're listening to Story of the Fight.
What is up, Will?
What up, what up?
Welcome, everybody, to Story of the Fight. My name is Romero. That's my boy, Will. And this is a podcast where we talk all things mixed martial arts. If this is your first time joining us, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, goes a long way. And look, we have people in the chat already blowing it up, dude. HOB Comer, welcome. Colleen, welcome. The Fly Looper, welcome as well. Ganskow or Gansko? How would you pronounce that?
Yeah, that one's still new to us.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I know you're not new, but the name is new.
HOB Comer, by the way, you had us laughing before we even hopped on camera. Greatly appreciate it. That is awesome. So, but yes, welcome everybody. Now, if you don't like watching, but you like listening, you can find us through Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else podcasts are found. And if you might still be curious as to what those outlets may be, where can they find that, Will?
Yeah, storyofthefight.com. It'll list everything, all our social media, where you can find us. Just click through, hit follow. It'll also have our merch page. If you want that sweet hoodie that Ramiro's wearing, if you want that sweet stitched beanie that he's wearing, I know it's getting chillier and chillier. You know,
In Tejas? Yes.
Again,
It's
it's just it's North America shipping, but if you're outside of North America and you want one, just hit us up on Instagram or something, and we'll make it happen.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll figure something out. But hey, Will. Today's your boy's birthday.
Whoa! Look at that.
Your boy's birthday today. And I wouldn't want to be anywhere else than right here with you and everybody else listening, talking mixed martial arts. Ganskow, by the way. Oh, thanks, Rick. Thanks for that horn there. But it's Ganskow. Thank you for correcting us on that one. And you know what? Let's go and get into it, man. Last night, we had Brendan Allen versus Paul Craig. Now, when I first saw this UFC Fight Night and I saw the main event, I was like, I don't know how many extra eyeballs this is going to draw in, but for us MMA nerds, like, this is a good matchup, right? You got number 10, matchup. Brendan Allen, number 13, Paul Craig, the Bear Jew with the classic stare downs.
After this, I actually we watched Inglourious Bastards last night because I was like, dude, the Bear Jew, so sick.
So good, right? Dude, but his stare downs between him and Ian Cutelaba, this is where I'm, who has the best stare downs? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Brendan Allen didn't quite commit to the like we just had Yidri versus Pereira, which was like a crazy stare down, right? And then we're gonna ask your age, dude. HLB Comer asking your age.
It's all good, dude. Hey, your boy here just turned 39 today.
Whoa,
39. Yeah. You could tell there's a lot more white coming in the beard as well. I feel like I get one for every fight night.
Yeah. There you go.
Keep on adding them up, dude. Keep on adding them up.
But yeah, so Paul Craig, the Bear Jew, always has crazy stare downs, and it's kind of funny just because it's so not like his fight. It doesn't like match the fight style at all. Like you see him, he's got the face paint, he's got the crazy beard, he stares you down like super gnarly. It's terrifying, and then he's like, "Jump in my guard."
Yeah. Can you imagine somebody like him in Braveheart? Like you said, Mel Gibson just charging in the background. You're like, who's that guy laying down on his back? What's he doing? Oh, he's waiting for somebody to get into his guard.
He's like, trust me, man. If you come in here, I'll get you. But it's just so funny that it doesn't match the stare downs. And then they're staring down in the cage. And then Brendan Allen's like, touch gloves. And then Paul Craig's like, no, dude, I don't do that shit. And then immediately proceeds to just get lit up on the feet in every fight, dude. And I said it with all due respect. I love Paul Craig. But yeah, so going into this, Paul Craig's 35, Brendan Allen's 27. So usually when there's that much of an age gap and you're not like 20 years old, it's going to favor the guy who's younger. And look, Paul Craig, like I said, he's 35. He's going down in weight class. He used to be a light heavyweight. Now he's a middleweight. I think he probably would have had a lot more success throughout his whole career if he was at middleweight the whole time.
The entire time, yeah.
Because if you're a guy who wants to be off their back, wants to be submitting people, but you're getting smashed by guys who cannot make 185, but you could have the whole time, like that's bad for your game, And it seems like this weight class change is a little too late, at this stage in his career, because man. And look, he had his moments. The calf slicer setup was awesome to the point where Felder and Fitzgerald thought the submission was, he goes for the calf slicer. There was no picture of it, but Brendan Allen tried to get him in like a side saddle rear naked choke when he was in the calf slicer.
Yeah,
and you could tell Brendan Fitzgerald and Paul Felder were like, oh, he's going for this. They're focusing on the choke. Meanwhile, Dominic Cruz is like, oh, the way he set up that calf slicer. And then they're like, wait, what? And he let go of the choke. And then Cruz kept talking about the calf slicer. And you could tell Felder and Fitzgerald were like, damn, I didn't even see that. That's how sick his setups are. Paul Craig is so crafty on the bottom.
He's dangerous, man. And that's why he always invites people into his garden. That's why he was always willing to take, a couple hammer fists to the face because he knew he always had a shot. Now, he had a good little run where we're talking about the fact that he probably should have been at middleweight the entire time, but he goes through and beats Shogun, Jamal Hill, Nikita Krylov. He was doing his thing,
Yeah. HB Comer says Paul should get fat and submit all those fat losers at heavyweight. I don't know if he's got the frame for it, man. I don't know if he's got the frame for it. I mean, yeah, Brent and Ganskow's saying Paul Craig is good, but Brendan Allen is going crazy. Brendan Allen lately has been on an absolute run, dude. And at middleweight especially is so interesting now because you have a dominant champ who loses the belt and is like, I'm not coming back for years. He said like 2027. I doubt that's accurate, but that's what he said. But you have Sean Strickland, who's a beatable champ because we've seen him lose multiple times. And then, Pereira is not coming down because he doesn't want to fight Strickland. So now you have this like the power struggle, the power vacuum, when like a dominant leader leaves, you got that power vacuum. And Brendan Allen is hitting his stride at the perfect time for where middleweight is at right now.
6-fight win streak for Brendan Allen. He beat Smiling Sam Alvey, Jacob Malkoon, Christoph Jocko, Andre Muniz, Bruno Silva, now Paul Craig.
Look at the methods on his last 4.
Yeah, rear naked choke, rear naked choke, rear naked choke. Hey, you think he likes the rear naked choke?
Yeah, and it's not just rear naked chokes. It's rear naked chokes on Andre Muniz and Paul Craig, 2 jiu-jitsu like craftsmen. The
5
fact
of
that
his
he's
last
stubbing
6
him,
rear naked choke.
crazy.
Holy smokes!
Do you count the Sam Alvey one though?
I mean, come on, that's on the record, dude.
Yeah,
Sam was smiling the entire time he was getting choked out too. It was awesome.
Yeah, Paul Craig has this thing where he gets hit and there's like a second delay before like he like reacts, and that's what happened in the Nikita Krylov fight where he was getting blasted. He eventually subbed him, but there's moments where he gets hit where he's like not there, and you're like, ooh, it never looks good whenever he gets hit. He doesn't take a shot extremely well. And in this fight, you could see the same thing. Brendan Allen on top, the ground and pound was like it's weird. He like no sells the reaction, but you can tell it like dazes him every time. And it looks like someone who did a weight cut further than they should have. It looks like that type of reaction, but he did the same thing at light heavyweight. So it's not that. I don't know what it is. But
maybe they're just jarring a couple things loose up there, man. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, who knows what it is, but yeah, besides the calf slicer attempt, that was pretty much all he ever got working for him.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it was pretty much one-way traffic.
For sure. Brendan Allen, so much better on his feet compared to Paul Craig, man. He just looked a lot crisper with his boxing. And then one of the things that I really like to see with Brendan Allen was he didn't make the mistake that some others did against Paul Craig. Paul feels very comfortable with his back. We mentioned that. And a lot of them will posture up and try to land big shots. Well, it allows Paul Craig to work with a lot more than, right? Brendan Allen stayed very close to Paul Craig the entire time he was on top. And instead of like pushing up and trying to posture up, he would actually just get up just a little bit, enough room for an elbow, short elbows over and over and over again, which cut up Paul Craig. That was such a good strategy. What is that on the side of that tattoo? Is that? Oh, dog tags. Okay, got it. Yeah. I thought it was a mouse, like a wired mouse. And I was like, why is very into old tech? I don't know. But yes, dude, it was a good fight. Great performance by Brendan Allen. And then Paul Craig, look, dude, he's still going to have some good fights. I think he's somebody that's going to be lingering in the top 15 for quite some time, maybe the next 3 years, right?
Yeah, I don't know, man. There's a group of unranked killers at middleweight who are like about to make their way through, and I feel like Paul Craig's probably going to get one of them next. Because where was he? Where were they ranked?
10th and 13th. Brendan Allen 10, Paul Craig 13.
Yeah, he's gonna have to defend that top 15 ranking against one of those guys.
He's gonna have to.
Yeah, and I don't know if it goes well, but you never. I mean, he's sub Jamal Hill.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You just don't know with this guy.
You really
and then
don't.
If he loses, like HOB Comer said, maybe he just gains a little bit of weight. Your boy goes up to 220 pounds or something.
Dude, if he can sit at like 230, 235, that's all you need at heavyweight. That was Stipe weight, Payne weight.
Yep.
You can make some stuff happen there. But
exactly.
Can he take heavyweight shots if he gets stunned from middleweight shots? Can he take the heavyweight shots? Because look, even in all of his wins, he gets lit up, especially with ground and pound.
He gets lit up, man. Who was it that was just landing some nasty ground and pound? I think it was Krylov. Yeah,
it was.
Yeah, it was Krylov, and he catches him in a triangle choke. Like awesome. He's just getting his face beat in, and then on one of the hammer fists, he just grabs his arm and just tosses up the triangle choke.
Well, because as he's getting hit, his legs are like up in the air, and you're like, is he just flailing because he's getting hit? And it's like, no, he's just waiting, and then he'll just catch you with those legs.
He's playing possum.
Yeah. But man,
by getting beat up. All right. Well, that's all I had on the main event. Look at that picture, though.
Yeah, it was hilarious. Him just dropping F-bombs and calling the Hamzat nickname just while he's holding his daughter. And it's like, damn, dude.
Yeah, dude. What a savage.
Yeah. What a savage. Shavkat gave him that hat. Did you know
that? I was going to say that looks familiar.
Yeah, it's his boy.
Oh, really? They're pretty close or what?
I guess so, yeah. It seemed like it.
Oh, well, good for them. I mean, I didn't really see them both and be like, who would probably become best friends would be Shavkat Rakhmonov and Brendan Allen. They seem like they'd really get along, All right, man. Do you want to go on to the co-main?
Yeah. HB Comer shouting out the heavyweight fight on this card. Man, unranked heavyweight fights are hard to watch.
Which is why he says my mother throws harder punches. Savage. All right. Before the main event, we did have Michael Morales versus Jake Matthews. Michael Morales coming in undefeated to the fight at 15-0. I thought that this was a really good matchup to see just how good Michael Morales is. We continue dipping our toes into tougher fights, stepping up in the level of difficulty. And I think that they're playing the cards right with Michael.
I think so too, because he's so young. And it's like, we've seen some guys who come in young and they look like world beaters, and the UFC's like, all right, cool, go beat the world. And then there's other guys who they kind of mold them through. And I don't know if that's necessarily UFC or if it's their management or like where that kind of like falls on, but
maybe a combination of the two.
Yeah, most likely, right? But whoever's doing it for Morales is doing it, like you said, doing it right. Jake Matthews has the ability to outclass some people. Like he really does. And then sometimes he gets outclassed. But then in this fight, I thought it was actually this fight was more competitive than I thought it was going to be. I thought Jake Matthews did a pretty good job. I had 29-28 Morales, though. I thought Matthews took the first round, and then Morales just fucking unhittable, dude. Unhittable.
Yeah, and the thing is, usually if you're able to weather the storm in that first round with Morales, things get a little bit better for you as the fight goes on. I feel like his gas tank, for some reason, just kicked in a lot better in the third round. Coming out in that second, I was like, oh, he might have gone a little gas because Morales. Morales has a tendency to just throw everything behind his punches. And then he can get a little unbalanced, and then he throws these wild flying knees, and he's just so.
He went for the flying knee like 3 times.
Oh yeah, and from a distance sometimes too, from way downtown. Yeah. So I saw all that going on that first round. I thought to myself, okay, he might have, blown his wad there, and then in the second round, again, I was like, okay, well, he's landing some shots. It was a really close second round, but I felt like that little flurry that he threw at the end of the round kind of took edged it out, right?
Because originally Jake was having a hard time finding his range. Morales does such a good job of slipping and turning and evading shots. and Jake was kind of getting stuck in a counter mode where he was just trying to land that counter left hook, and it was like you got to do more than just that. But then he started picking up things like the leg kick for the trip, little things like that, and eventually started getting his punches together and landing. But then, and I was like, oh, this is a closer round than it started. And then Morales at the end there really put it on him, and you're like, how much of that I wonder is this? And I mean this with no disrespect to Jake, but is this somebody who's trying to get octagon time? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it seemed like when he wanted to flip a switch, he just flipped it, and Jake couldn't really do anything about it. You know?
Yeah. HOB
he did it a
says
few
I felt like
times.
Matthews could have done more. It was a close fight. It was a really close fight.
Yeah.
And again, that's why
yeah.
I saw this fight and I thought to myself, like, man, what a good matchup for Morales. Because I really feel like even though he won this fight, there was a lot he could learn from this.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so
100%.
It was a good
100%.
matchup.
I didn't think the flying knee landed until I was doing the slideshow for the pictures, and then I saw this one. And I was like, oh no,
one landed.
One of them did, and that's probably why he kept throwing it. I'm guessing it was the first one that landed, and then he was like, that felt good.
Let me go back to the well.
Yeah.
Yeah, but a young prospect, promising prospect. A lot to look forward to with Mr. Michael Morales. And Jake Matthews, we'll see him fight again.
100%, yeah. Jake did well in this fight. He, like HB Comer said, he could have done more. And I think that's just when you're throwing punches and they're slipping it like that, it's hard to commit again, but I feel like when he did go and really start throwing combos together, he was catching them. But man, it's tough. It's tough. But I do like Jake Matthews as a fighter. I think he's got like an aesthetically pleasing style. The way he throws punches is cool. Like he throws that like swatting overhand right where it's not like a full looping one. He just cut like it's a short overhand right. And then sometimes he'll throw it straight. Like I like watching him fight. It just
for sure
could have done a little bit more.
All right, man. We ready to move on to the next one?
Yeah.
All right, your boy. High School Will is what I call him. Chase Hooper versus Jordan Leavitt.
The meme fight of the card, dude. This is the people's main event, in my opinion. This is the fight I was looking forward to the most.
Do we have a picture of the face-off during weigh-ins? What is going on here?
Yeah, dude. I fucking love both these guys, dude. These guys are awesome, dude. They did the first ever Reddit Ask Me Anything fight, like where at like 6 p.m. Chase Hooper did Ask Me Anything, and then at 7 p.m. Jordan Leavitt did one. And they're like, this is the first time we've had two guys that are fighting do an Ask Me Anything. Like they did it on like Thursday or something like that.
Yeah.
And HB covers just the battle of heterosexuality. But dude, but they do the Ask Me Anything. Chase Hooper does it for like an hour and a half. He's answering questions on Reddit and stuff. Dude, Jordan Leavitt answered questions until like 1 a.m. He was on there literally like 6 hours later, still answering questions.
Lord.
It was fucking awesome. I was like, dude, you're a savage for doing this. He's like, I'm just trying to get to everybody. I'm like, dude, what a fucking guy. He's having a kid this week. At some point, his baby was due, and he's like, sorry, UFC, if I get a phone call and they say my wife's going into labor, I'm fucking out. I don't care about this fight.
Yeah.
But both these guys are so cool, Yeah, HB Comer, they're both super nice guys. And both of them have such fun to watch grappling. And I was like, we're either gonna get like the, when Colby and Kamaru fought, the wrestling canceled each other out, and they're both not at that point the first time. They're not very good strikers. But so what happens is you get swinging and banging, clicking and clacking, because the wrestling's gone, and just these two guys who have zero striking defense are swinging at each other. And I was like, is the jiu-jitsu going to cancel out, and we're going to see both these guys Bangkok ready try to strike with each other? Or are we going to get a super cool grappling match? And we got a very cool grappling match.
It was awesome, man.
People's main event. It was great. There's sweeps, there's arm attacks, there's leg attacks, there's choke attack. Like it was fucking
How about
awesome.
that hammer fist?
Dude.
Where Hooper went straight Undertaker, dude, and his eyes rolled to the back of his head.
You could see like the camera angle. It was this shot. Chase is trying to hit the sweep where you grab the ankle, you're on your back, you grab their ankle, you kick up with your legs and you push them back as you pull their ankle out from under them. And I forgot what it's called, but he's trying to hit that sweep. Jordan just kind of like withstands it, and then with the momentum of coming back from the sweep, just drops a fist from the gods on him, dude. And you could see it smashes his face, and you could see Chase Hooper just like looking that way. and you're like, oh my god, dude. And then stuck with it. Chase Hooper has a chin, man. He's taken some big shots in his young career.
How old was he when he started with the UFC? Do you remember?
I think 19.
19.
I think he was 19. How about this? Dude. He's 24 right now. And his UFC debut was 2019. So he's been in the UFC for so 19, 20. Either one of the two. There's another picture of that shot, dude. Oh my
gnarly,
God.
Man. Gnarly. And he's taken some big shots, like you said, taking a beating in some of the fights, and boy, he's probably gonna be dealing with CT by the age of 29, dude.
Yeah, but 29. Man, he's sticking through it. He's at a new weight class, 155. I'm not gonna lie, I was rooting for Jordan Leavitt a little bit more, but I was just happy to see. I was, because you interact with somebody, and all of a sudden they're your boy. You talk to Jordan Leavitt, and he's like, dude, hit me up. We'll set up. Hit me up on Instagram. We'll set up an interview next week. And I was like, man, you got to fight in like 2 days, and your baby's like about to be born any day, and it's Thanksgiving next week. Like, it's just very badass. Cool guy. Very cool guy.
Should we have a special Thanksgiving edition interview with Jordan Leavitt? Dude, that'd be so funny.
Hey, you said next week. Does Thursday work?
You have anything going on?
Yeah, but man. I mean, so you root for the guy, and he's had some fun fights, dude. The Matt Wyman slam KO was fucking awesome. He's a fun fighter. But Chase Hooper is too, and it was cool to see a respectful fight between these guys, and like just really cool grappling exchanges. Cool sweeps, cool reversals, submission to threats. Very fun fight. Gnarly ground and pound a couple times. Even Chase Hooper, when he went back for like a heel hook or something, Leavitt did, and Chase Hooper kind of reaches over and just fucking hits him one time, and you're like, oh, he got some power on that.
I mean, maybe this new weight class.
Well, we've seen his last fight. He looked a lot more improved, a lot more filled out, a little bit more stable. Whereas before he was getting like knocked off balance all the time.
Maybe this is just it. Maybe that's all he needed. We'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, he even said he's only 19. Your boy still had to grow. You know what I mean?
Well, he even said, he's like, I'm still growing. There's a decent chance I fight at welterweight by the time my career is over. Jeez. It's crazy, man.
All right, man. Well, that's all I had for that fight. It was a fun fight. It's always nice to see Chase Hooper and Jordan Leavitt fight, man. Props to both of them. Like HLB Comer said, super nice guys. So I wish them both nothing but the best.
It's one of those fights where it sucks to see because one of them has to lose, and you're like, damn, I don't want either of these guys to lose. They're both cool.
For sure, man. For sure. HLB Comer. Classic. Ganscow, though, Hooper versus Kopylov, he says. Man, what do you think?
Yeah, Ganscow with another profile picture. It changed during this live stream. I respect it.
I like it.
At the gym. But yeah, Kopylov is like, he like came back from the future. He's like future Chase Hooper, and he came back. He's like, don't just worry, guys. Like, I'll put together my striking. And then he came back in time to show everybody.
Oh, dang, dude.
He looks exactly like him. It's crazy.
So it's like the future versus, All right. Let's go and move on here. We had Payton Talbott versus Nick Aguirre.
Yeah. Talbott making his UFC debut coming off of A1 Combat and the Contender Series. Aguirre, his second UFC fight?
I believe so, yeah. Came in with some wrestling right off the bat, right?
Well, that's what, Payton was like, I know people are going to try to take me down. Like, that's what they're going to, because I'm a striker. That's what people are going to try to do. And Aguirre was like, yep, that's exactly what I'm going to do. 30 seconds in, I'm going to take you down. And
let me show you.
And I'm going to control you for the rest of the round. It's like, damn.
And so after seeing that first round, my thoughts were like, well, damn, there goes the next 15 minutes of my life. But dude, when your strategy is to take somebody down and hold them down, right? And I just don't feel like Aguirre did enough to try to finish him while he was on top. I mean,
granted, Talbot, rear naked choke a little bit.
Yeah, I was gonna say, granted, Talbot also had some good defense there, right, which kind of prevented that RNC. But you have to start every round on your feet again.
I was gonna say that when this fight ended, I was like, I know what I'm gonna say, and it was that phrase. Every round starts on the feet, man.
Yeah, and so if you're Aguirre, you're like, damn, man, like I just worked so hard for 4.5 minutes to keep this guy down and wasn't able to finish him. Now we're gonna have to start, and it's the exact same situation. So now you have Talbot that comes out, right? Now he's sprawling a lot more. Now he's ready for it, and anytime that Aguirre did a level change, Talbot had the underhooks ready to go, right? So it's just a quick underhook, push him up, and then tat, and throw a quick combo.
There was a couple times where Aguirre was able to hip out, and try to get back up. And then every time he'd hip out and get back up, like you said, Talbott would just get that underhook, push him back down. And then they'd be there for a second. He'd hit that, he'd hip out, sit up. Nope, you're going right back down. Yeah, it was you know, in the second round, you could tell that Aguirre was just exhausted, trying to mat return, trying to keep him down. Like it just exhausted him. A little
and that's what I think. Like you always hear the announcer saying, like, you know, well, these wrestlers. That's the thing with wrestling is that you exhaust that other person. Like they're so tired of trying to get out and trying to get back up, and it's like, you know, who else is tired from doing that? The person that's trying to keep them down. It's exhausting for both parties.
Yeah, exactly. And like, you know, as Payton grows, he's going to have to improve that first round takedown defense, because it's like, you know, some of these guys that aren't Nick Aguirre are going to be able to do that for 3 rounds. You know, you think of certain guys like, what's the guy, the alpha male guy, the damage, Darren Elkins, like guys like that, they do not get tired doing that, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, that's Payton's still young in his career, and he's going to have to kind of figure that out, because the first round, there was really no defense on the takedown, you know, and there was not much. There was good, like you said, good defensive grappling as far as defending submissions, things like that, but not really, no real attempts to get up, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe that's what he's like, I feel this guy's working super hard. I'm just going to stay calm. I'll get him next round. Maybe that's what he was thinking. And
do you know the story behind the tattoo in the front and the tattoo in the back?
The black hole in the front and back? Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Okay.
It's pretty sick, though. I like it.
Do you? Just looks like
it's different. It's unique, you know? I like it. I'd rather see something like that than like the, you know, the last name on the top of the shoulders, you know.
Hey, dude. No, I don't have that tattoo. That'd be hilarious, though.
You're like, hey, man.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd rather see that than the typical, you know, portraits of their children.
Hey, how dare you, man?
There you go.
All right.
Ganskow says
Talbott was staying safe without wasting energy round 1. So, similar to Powhatan last week, and it comes out full energy. I like it.
No, I could definitely see that. But, you know, and that's a dangerous game. It pays off sometimes, and then sometimes it really doesn't, because sometimes you conserve your energy, and despite conserving your energy, your body's still dead, you know, at the end of that round. And, you know, if he faces somebody who's a little bit more of like a chain wrestler, then he might have some issues. But he's still young in his career. This is his UFC debut. It's going to be interesting to see what the matchups are moving forward. But like you said, everybody's going to be trying to take him down in the first round. He's going to have to deal with that, you know.
For sure. And I think he handled it pretty well.
He handled it extremely well, you know. He got controlled for, I think, 4 minutes and 30 seconds of that first round, and then comes out and then ends up getting a finish in the third. So I'd say it worked out pretty well for him.
You know, he wins with the rear naked choke himself. And HLB Comer earlier said those curly grappling mofos are tough. Hey, here's another curly-headed guy, you know, so.
Yeah.
There we go. All right. We can move on here. A couple of brasileiras fighting with Amanda Ribas and Luana Pinheiro.
Holy smokes.
Amanda Ribas, man, I get tired just watching her, dude. She has so much movement just the entire time on the way in.
Herky-jerky.
It's herky-jerky, and like every time I watch it, I always have the same thing that runs through my head. It's like, is that just wasted energy? How efficient is that for you in the long run? Like, because you're 5 feet away from her, 6 feet away from her, and you start the head bobbing and the shoulder side to side and up and down, and then as soon as you get closer, a lot of that head movement stops, and you still end up getting tagged. And look, it's it's just stuff that I guess she's probably been doing her entire career. Probably something that's going to be very tough to stop at this point, right? But man, she's been putting on bangers lately.
She's been putting on bangers, for better, for worse, for her. But this one, I was like, man, here's another one of Amanda Ribas just getting tagged, and she just keeps coming forward. She's hard to put out. Like the last fight was Macy Barber. Was it the last one? Or she was getting lit up. She kept coming, right? But, I mean, she was getting lit up. And this one, you know, Luana was landing bombs on her in that first round. You know, her whole side of her face had like 3 hematomas on it. And you're like, oh, my God, dude. She kept coming forward. And then that second round, all of a sudden, Luana's just like slowing way down. And I was like, oh, no. And I was thinking, I was like, man, and like 1 minute into the second round, I was like, man, Amanda Ribas has never looked less dangerous. Like she's so far away. She's not able to land anything. When she does land, it's just like short little like bah, 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 as she's running in at her with her feet not planted, so they're not really doing any damage. And then she started actually putting stuff together, and I was like, never mind, dude. Never mind. Because, dude, in hindsight, what she was doing was so good because even when she was super far out, if they're in the closed stance, Amanda, like, I don't know if we have a good picture of them just in their stance. Probably not. But, Amanda Ribas, they're both orthodox, left hand forward. So they're closed stance. And she's throwing her lead leg, which is her left leg, as an inside leg kick against Luana. Like, great. Inside leg kick doesn't really do too much damage. The best thing that it does is it sets up your overhand right. You can step in with that inside left leg kick, throw the overhand right. But what she was doing is she would do this crazy like step in, and then she wasn't actually throwing, but she'd turn her hips like she was about to throw the lead leg kick, but then she'd just plant it really far like forward, and you're like, ooh, that's the feint on the leg kick. And then she would, but it's also how you throw a turning side kick, right? Because how you throw a turning side kick is you step forward your left leg, you almost turn your feet or your toes towards yourself rather than the opponent, so that you can spin over and then throw that kick. But you plant with that left leg, and that same feint where she's throwing the left leg kick, or she steps forward and just plants it, that can be her stepping in to throw this turning side kick. So you're like, is she leg kicking? Is she feinting? Or is she throwing the turning side kick? There's the turning side kick. And keep the picture here, Rich. So she's throwing the turning side kick. She's throwing the inside leg kick. She's just stomping with her lead leg. That could either be the spin or the left leg kick. And Angel Comer says, said, have you seen Mortal Kombat? It went batshit crazy. Yeah. So she throws the turning side kick a few times, and every time you see Luana's hands are low like that to try to parry it or try to get her arms in the way of it or whatever, right? And I was like, man, that's great, because sometimes people feint and they over feint. They feint, but they never go. And then you're like, it's just a feint, you know? But if you're throwing the inside leg kick, if you're throwing the turning side kick to the body and you're throwing the feint, you have no idea what's happening. And then you add a fourth. Most people only have a two. They only have two. They either have the feint or they have the strike. This one has a feint, a leg kick, a turning side kick, and then a spinning wheel kick, which is the same opening, the same entry to the kick, and she throws it up top. Oh my God, dude! It was amazing.
Please tell me you got the picture sequence.
I got the picture sequence.
Oh yes,
you got it. Let's show it. I think there's a picture of her right hand here. She hurts her, and then she throws the wheel kick, and it's like stop motion. But look at her arms.
Oh my God.
Her arms are low because she thought it was the turning side kick to the body. She's ready to parry it to the body, but it's not. She went up top. It's fucking beautiful the way she set that up, dude. It wasn't a lot of the times. Look, a lot of times, especially in women's MMA, there's a lot of spinning wheel kicks that are like 20 feet out. They're not set up. It happens all the time. Valentina Shevchenko literally lost her belt off of one of them. She's made a career out of throwing spinning wheel kicks that have no chance of landing. Dude, Amanda Ribas set this up for 2 rounds. It was fucking
beautiful.
Awesome. It was amazing.
It was beautiful, man.
So good.
Yeah, and then she finishes, right? Luana Pinheiro.
And Luana looked like she was like, what just happened? I was winning.
Dude, that last picture with her arms straight down, her face off to the side, eyes closed. Oh, man. Ganskow says, what an image. And then HOB Cover says, look at her sleeping like a beautiful angel. Man, hey, but props to Pinheiro, because she wasn't out cold off that kick.
No.
But that was the beginning of the end.
But you eat a kick like that and you're already exhausted and you're getting lit up already. It's tough to stick that one through. That was brutal, man. What a performance.
Props to Amanda Ribas, though. Props to Amanda Ribas, back in the win column. And for Amanda Ribas, let's see. Before that, she had lost to Macy Barber. Before that, she beat Viviane Araújo. Yeah, I mean, on and off, right? Like, look at her last 6 fights, man. She loses one, wins one. Loses one, wins one. Loses one, wins one. Hey, next time she fights, man, your boy's going to drop some cash on her taking an L.
Yeah, most likely. And look, she was 10. She beat 9. So she's going to be fighting inside the top 10 further in. I don't know, man. It's she hasn't fought Mackenzie Dern, has she?
Oh, man, don't do that.
Mackenzie Dern's coming off a loss. She's ranked 8. Amanda Ribas 10. Coming off
Do
a
it.
win.
Do it.
Kenzie during Amanda Ribas?
Sign it. Sign it now.
Or do you give her someone higher up, in the rankings? Because she's 10, she beats 9. Do you have her fight 8? Do you have her jump up a little bit more? Probably a little bit more. But
if I'm Amanda Ribas, though, give me Mackenzie Dern.
And give
she
me
has
her
a
now.
bigger name. Yeah, before she gets Perillo back in her corner, please.
Yeah, exactly.
Give me Dern ASAP.
Yep.
While she's still paying those divorce fees,
Yeah.
By the way, that video of Joe Rogan went so viral.
I know, dude.
During the post-fight interview, but that was with, who was it? With Andrade?
Because it was the battle. Both of them were talking about how, our paychecks for this fight are going to go to our divorces. Both of them were saying that.
Oh my God,
That's
dude.
crazy.
He's like, hopefully you get that bonus to pay for your divorce bills, huh?
Yeah.
Classic, dude. Classic. All right, we can move on to the next fight. I think we're going to start skipping some fights here pretty soon, right? Not until after.
Pretty soon. Not yet, but pretty
after
soon.
this one. Okay, yeah. So we had Orolbai versus Medic.
Yeah, fun fight, dude. Ganskow says she already beat Dern, right? That's what I thought too, but I just looked through her Tapology. Yeah, she beat her in 2019. So yeah, maybe you don't do that. That was a long time ago, though.
It was a long time ago, and I still feel like Mackenzie Dern's name is bigger now than it was then.
100%. If you're Amanda Ribas, a win over Mackenzie Dern now, a little bit better.
Yeah, still fighting somebody that's ranked higher than you, fighting somebody that has a big name. Why not?
Yeah.
Going there with a little extra confidence. You've beat her before, and plus she's not looking too good right now. So let's do it.
Yeah.
All right. Orolbai versus Medic.
Orolbai versus Medic. Tricky one, because you see someone with the name Myktybek Orolbai from Kyrgyzstan, and you're like, you think this guy's going to try to strike with me, or you think he's going to try to wrestle me? He's probably going to come out and try to grapple. Early on, Medic is lighting him up with nasty knees and really long punches as Orolbai's trying to close the distance and get a hold of him, and he's just lighting him up with some big shots. Orolbai eating them like nothing, though, and just still runs through them all and gets him down. HB Comer says, how is Medic the one with the full camp? Dude, I think that type of grappling is different, and you feel it, and you're like, oh my God.
What did I get myself into?
Yeah, and he's trying to be explosive in these transitions, and it's like the opposite of Talbott, right? There's a fine line somewhere where you don't want to do nothing and just get, one-way traffic, but you also don't want to go so hard trying to get up or trying to create these scrambles and all this stuff, because that's what's going to zap your gas tank. And Medic, I think, maybe went the other way. And I think he did kind of zap his own gas tank he did create some openings. He up kicked him a couple times. He was able to get his feet on the hips, push him away, and then light him up with some up kicks. Like I said, he landed some big knees and like long shots on like while he was trying to like ankle pick him and stuff.
And can we just say how beautiful that takedown was, by the way, for Orolbai?
God,
like, and
look,
one. I know that it's nothing fancy. We're not picking him up and slamming him, no suplex or anything like that. But just when he goes for that single leg, right, and you have Medic that's hopping, good balance on that one leg, and he just moves just a little bit to get Medic to just hop, and then he ties his leg right into Medic's one leg that's down on the mat, and it just a nice, simple takedown, but it was just so perfectly executed. And I saw it, and I was like, man, that was so nice, man.
Yeah, when the basics get done like perfectly, it's really cool to watch. Like it's so like pleasing to see, And
again, it's not gonna like Rich probably wouldn't watch that, right? Or producer Rich the Casual wouldn't watch it and be like, whoa, that was amazing. But for somebody that watches a lot of grappling, we're like, dude, that was just so nicely done. The timing was perfect. The setup was perfect. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, dude, the rest of the night's going to be rough for Medic.
Yeah. And I love, too, when Dominic Cruz is like, yeah, you're not going to out-grapple Medic like this. Like, that's not going to continue all this stuff. And then, meanwhile, he's just getting smothered, dude. He's drowning.
Oh, poor Medic.
But yeah, Orolbai eventually works his way to the submission. It was like a neck crank, right? Was this one?
Yeah, it was like a combination of a rear naked choke and a bulldog choke.
Yeah, he's kind of on the side a little bit.
Yeah, like he still had like one hook in, right? He reaches over, and it looked like it was like a rear naked choke, and then he kind of just like kept on sliding a little bit further to the left side of Medic, so it turned kind of into a bulldog choke. It was weird,
nasty though,
but effective.
Looked painful. Some chokes aren't painful. That one looked painful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool. That's someone to watch though, for sure.
Well, there was one of the big takedowns right there. So for anybody that's just listening, not watching, Highly recommend tuning into YouTube because we actually share the pictures, some of the pictures from the fight, so we can kind of go through and reference what's going on. But yeah, fun fight.
Fun fight, someone to watch for. Medic just had a tough run a little bit. I think he's one of those guys that is so skilled. You can see that he has like a ton of skill, and he just hasn't really been able to like put it all together lately.
In Orolbai debut, right?
Yeah,
yep.
Debut.
Not bad for a debut, man. Not a bad debut.
Not too shabby.
All right. This is we're gonna start skipping fights, I believe. So now we're gonna move over to Pearce versus Brito.
Yeah. Dude, you were like, which ones are we covering? I need to rewatch. And I was like, this one, make sure you watch with audio because it's
hilarious.
Hilarious, dude.
So funny, man. Okay, so Pearce, right, ends up getting top control of Brito from the fight. And the notes I have here says the trash talking from Pearce so loud. He's punching me in the back of the head, he says, as Brito's taking some shots. And then after that, he's like, get up and do something.
Well, hold on. You skipped the best part.
Which one?
So Pearce is on top. He's up against the fence. He's grinding him out for like 2 minutes now. Brito's on his back, and he starts kind of like hammer fisting him in the back of the head. Pearce is like, he's hitting me in the back of the head. And as he's telling the ref that, Brito's like, bah, 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 bah. It's so fun, like over him, like a child, dude. Because he's frustrated, right? Anytime you're getting held down like that, you're frustrated. And then after that, Pearce is like, get up and do something then. Get up and do something about it. And then he's like, as he's like ground and pounding him and stuff. And then,
dude, it's so funny.
And then Brito gets up and he does something about it. Because immediately after that, they stand up. Pearce goes in for a takedown, and Brito shoots in the ninja choke and torques his neck so bad. And it's like, man, it's like when keeping it real goes wrong, dude.
100%.
It's
so perfect for that, man. And you could just imagine what was going through Pearce's head at that point in time. And he was probably like,
God damn it.
Fuck.
He got up and did something about it. It was literally right after, man.
So I finished watching that fight and I'm just laughing. I'm like, this is exactly why Will told me. Make sure you watch with audio.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
And then he chokes him out. He throws him down with the ninja choke. He taps, and then he immediately gets up and then takes his shorts off and starts walking around like a fucking like the boss, dude. It's so funny, man.
This Brito guy, man.
He's a savage, dude.
16-3 now. He's been on a bit of a roll.
Yeah, this is 4 in a row, right?
4 in a row, man. Beat Andre Feely, Lucas Alexander, Weston Wilson, and now Jonathan Pearce.
Yeah, there's him taking his shorts off.
And he's
fucking hilarious.
The last 4 fights that he's won, all finishes, man.
Dude, not just that. He makes his UFC debut against Bill Aljo. Takes him to decision, loses ultimately, but it's a debut, so you don't really care that much. And it's Bill Aljo, like crazy debut. And then he knocks out Andre Feely in the first round. Like talk about a bounce back after you're losing your debut. And then since then he hasn't lost. The guy's he's a savage, dude.
Real deal.
Man, him blah blah blahing him as he's complaining to the ref is fucking hilarious.
Hey, shout out coleslaw.
Made it to church. Shout out to that's the boy.
But yeah, dude, so classic. And
fight, and even before that, it was
the McGregor, the
yeah,
he just
so stupid, so childish, dude.
Come on, man.
Dude,
it was perfect.
Anytime someone's like actually trash talking in a fight too, it's not just like pre-fight stuff, but you're like actually heated and talking shit. If you get mocked like a 10-year-old, you really can't do anything back. Like that's it. There's no.
You can just one up them by mocking them even harder, like an 8-year-old, but you're not gonna do that. You're in the middle of a fight.
Yeah, it's one of the funniest things ever. Because if you try to trash talk back, some guys are just better at trash talk. But if you just fucking drop the level all the way to a 5-year-old, you win. There's nothing you can't do anything back to that.
You win automatically.
Yeah, man. You ever watch Community?
Of course,
dude. There's this episode in Community where like there's like high schoolers that are like touring the college and they keep making fun of, and that's what ends up happening. They end up just fucking like mocking each other. It's so funny, dude.
Oh, that's such a good show. Underrated, by the way.
Yeah, at least the first 3 seasons, fucking gold. Starts once Don Glover left and
Chevy Chase
got rid of Chevy Chase. It was
then it started going downhill. But first 3 seasons, money. All right.
Money.
The next fight we're going to cover is Saragih versus Alexander.
Yeah, we're skipping a few here. The Duncan versus Tuluan fight had a cool finish. Johnson versus Anheliger had a cool comeback, but Jeka, that's my boy. I am ride or die for this guy now, dude. He's fucking awesome. Yeah, dude. He's
man.
He's just an infectious personality, and he fucking cracks, dude. He has so much power in his hands. It's crazy.
Yeah, and at first, Alexander had it seemed like he was doing a pretty good job of kind of sitting back and countering a little bit. Jeka comes in, and then Alexander lands this nice counter uppercut as he's stepping back, and I was like, okay, that was pretty clean.
Nice long shots, leg kicks, head kicks.
Yeah.
The picture, there's only like three or four pictures from this fight, and it's very much call an ambulance, but not for me. Because like you said at the beginning, Alexander's long. He's landing kicks. He's landing these uppercuts. I think we have a picture of the high kick. It might be the first one. Yeah. So like he's lighting him up against the fence. And then all of a sudden the pictures don't really show it, but there's a scramble where Saragih's on the ground, I think. Or no, he's up. Alexander's trying to go for a leg. Look, the next he's getting high kick. This is the next picture of the fight, by the way. There was no other pictures in between these. And there's a scramble. Alexander gets up and tries to escape and turn and fade away. And immediately Jeka's just on him. He goes, bop, bop, and just flatlines him as he flies to the side. And then just as he's on the ground, hits him a couple more times. And dude,
the dance? The dance afterwards?
I mean, how could you not like this guy?
He's hilarious, awesome. Dude. So funny. That must have been the best part of the fight.
Yeah, I mean the knockout was pretty fucking awesome, dude.
That dance is better, bro.
But we've seen that now back-to-back weeks where there's certain moments in fights where there's almost like a gentleman's agreement, or like people can get away with mistakes, especially escaping. Ganskow says Bisping versus Rockhold KO. Look, there's moments where you can fade away and kind of have your defense down and get out of it, and no one's really going to capitalize on it because they don't want to overexpose themselves and then get caught with the counter. But then there's examples like last week, Benoit Saint-Denis versus Matt Frevola, where Frivola's kind of skating away against the fence and he catches him with the high kick because his hands are down. He thinks he's just going to let me circle out, because that happens all the time. Another one was Giga Chikadze versus Calvin Kattar, when there was a moment where Giga Chikadze stumbled on a kick that he threw and kind of fell back and spun around. Normally people, you see that and you're like, I wish I could capitalize on that, but he's about to get up, so I'm not going to, right? But instead, as soon as he stumbles, Calvin Kattar sprints at him and shoots like a spearing double leg at him, and then destroyed him for the rest of the fight after that. And this is another one where Lucas Alexander, he gets up and kind of fades away thinking, I'll probably just be able to get out of this. And then Jeka is just leaping at him with multiple punches. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Fucking awesome knockout, dude. Awesome.
It was a good one. It was a good one. And hopefully we get to see Jeka back in there soon, man. He didn't take very much damage, if at all. So, hey, let's put this guy back in there next week. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and also shout out Dominic Cruz, who just refuses to, like, on the replay, like, and a shout out to Herb Dean for letting Lucas Alexander try to fight back. And it's like, what are you talking? He was out cold from the first punch. What are you talking?
Yeah, let's let it go. Let's let it go, my guy.
Dude, how long ago was that fight?
Yeah.
When did Dominic Cruz fight? That was Triple C, right?
Yeah.
When was
it's been a minute.
Because every single time he commentates and there's a sort of late stoppage, it's been 3 years, dude. Drop it.
Gotta let it go.
Gotta let
it go. All right, man. All right, we'll move on to the next one. I think we have.
Dom is so salty.
Oh, super salty. But I think we have 2 fights, right? 2 fights left.
2 fights left. Yeah.
The next one we're gonna cover is Pudilová versus Perez.
Yeah, Ailin Perez, man, she's taken the internet by storm with her wins, dude.
Yeah.
Look, this fight wasn't even that great, but we have to talk about it just because of the before and after. If you look here, you can't really see it, but under Ailin's eye, she's the one on the right. Under her eye, it was like already swollen.
Yeah.
I guess. Hey, shout out Tony, Sundays with the boys.
Hey.
Allegedly, there's conflicting stories on this, but allegedly at the PI a couple days ago, maybe it was yesterday or the day before, Jocelyn Edwards, UFC fighter, cracked her a little too hard. And that's what gave her the shiner. And there was a scuffle allegedly, and Aileen's coach ran in there, fucking threw on that rear naked choke on Jocelyn Edwards, tried to choke her out for going too hard at Ailin Perez. They had to be separated. It was this whole deal of
Drama.
A coach attacked another fighter, a female fighter, for
a lot of
sparring
drama
too
going on in
hard.
Las Vegas this weekend.
Don't even talk about that. But so there's drama before the fight. Fight happens. Ailin takes her down. Really good takedowns in the first 2 rounds. Grinds her out, mounts her, doesn't really do too much. Second round, Pudilová comes back. HW Comer says Will's tag is missing again. I think it's just covered by the banner, the Ailin Perez versus Lucie Pudilová banner.
Oh, is that what it is?
I think it's just underneath.
Yeah, probably.
But good comeback from Pudilová, right, in the 3rd round. Ends up taking her back. She's stopping the takedowns now, takes her back, almost rear naked chokes her, almost gets the finish, doesn't quite. So pretty easy 29-28 for Ailin Perez. Ailin then proceeds to do what she does every time she wins and start twerking. And then the broadcast cuts from, I'm not going to show it because it's like, but it was hilarious. If you didn't see it, definitely go watch it, because it cuts from her twerking to her like 7-year-old child in the crowd who's like smiling, and then you see his face just like, oh, she's twerking again, and like look down, and then it cuts back to her twerking, and it's just like, what the fuck with the UFC?
And then she wishes him a happy birthday.
Yeah, you're like, what are you doing?
And then she proceeds to twerk again up against the fence.
Up against the fence, and we have a picture of that. Her and her coach go up against the fence to twerk right in front of the commentary booth, and Brendan Fitzgerald lights up. He's like, the best she in the house. He like throws his arm up. Hilarious.
What is going on?
Which is why the fight wasn't great, but might as well cover it because it's fucking hilarious. The fact that right after this, Brendan Fitzgerald, Ganska says, was that Brendan Fitzgerald fist pumping right in front of her? Yeah, that's him right there with the light blue shirt and the tie in the background. And right after this, he's like, the best she in the house, and he fucking puts his arm up. Hilarious, dude. Oh my god, man.
Classic. All right, man. Props to Ailin Perez. Hopefully, she continues winning, and maybe she doesn't take her son to the fights to watch the post-fight celebrations. But
yeah, she called out Norma Dumont. She said the battle of the asses. It's like, god damn, dude, this girl's crazy.
Hilarious. Fitzgerald will be there for that one. All right.
Yeah, dude. I'm not even in the booth, but I'll be there front row.
Last fight we're going to cover, though, is Ogden versus Motta.
Man. Because there's got to be some controversy. Every card's got to have some.
Yeah. Hey, to start off, though, real quick, Ogden, that jab, money.
Oh, my God, dude. Dude, everything he did. Within like 30 seconds, he lands the jab, and Motta tries to counter, and he slips it, and he does a little taunt. And I was like, oh, man, Ogden's he's
seeing him.
Some people hit the flow state right away, and he hit it right away. And from that point on, he was slipping. He was exiting on angles. He's lighting him up with the jab, beating him up bad. And Motta's trying to land something. And then every time he would extend his combinations, Ogden circles out and then shoots a takedown and just shoulder checks him and then breaks away. And you're like, dude, what a game plan and what an execution of that game plan. Ogden looked like a fucking world beater in this fight. He looked so good. Kept
on stopping Ogden in his tracks, man. Or Motta in his tracks. You saw him wanting to pressure. Like he wanted to pressure, and he kept on going forward, and he just kept on getting his head snapped back, and he'd have to reset. Then he'd want to pressure, head snap back, reset. Look.
Yeah.
So they end up getting down on the ground, right? Ogden falls like straight into like an arm triangle choke. He's squeezing with everything he's got. You see Motta that's trying to push on Ogden's.
Trying to get some space here.
Yes, trying to create some space so that he's not cutting off oxygen completely. And then we have
I think there's a picture. I think there's a picture of the choke in the slideshow.
In the meantime, Ganskow says, how do you dominate a guy, never do anything wrong, and then have the win taken away? Disgusting. 100%.
Yeah. So this picture right here, you can see the glove on Ogden's armpit, right? Yep. Because that shoulder of Ogden is what's applying the pressure on that side of the neck, on an arm triangle. So Motta's in a tough spot here, but he's using his own hand to push on that armpit to try to alleviate the space here on his neck. And it was probably working a little bit, because if it was locked in, he would have tapped by then, because he was in it for like 5 or 6 seconds. They were in there for a decent amount of time. Not a good position, but he was okay. and you can hear Mike Beltran, who's normally a pretty good ref, and everybody makes mistakes, but you hear him say, he's like, Nick, like, let me know, show me something, like you're here. And he grabs the arm, he shakes it, he's like, show me something, gotta show me something. He asks him like 4 or 5 times. He doesn't show him something because why would he? He's getting choked, and he's literally the thing that's making him survive is him pushing on the shoulder.
If you were to let that go to give a thumbs up, he would have tapped right after that.
It's tight. It's immediately tight right after that. And, and then he doesn't show him anything. And Beltran's like, oh my God, stop it. And then he immediately sits up and he's like, what the fuck? And it's a bad call and it sucks. And this has happened a few times this year, it seems. Like more than most. Like it's happened like 5 or 6 times, it seems like. Ganskow says he could have thumbs up while the other hand went when asked. I don't agree with that though, because it's so easy to say that like on the outside, but if half your paycheck is on the line, your record's on the line, and in that moment, all you're thinking is survive this choke. It shouldn't be on the fighter to have to show, that he's okay. It really shouldn't, because in that moment, any slight variation of movement or anything like that, or just distracting yourself, like, oh, I need to show to the ref that I'm okay. You need to be hyper focused in that moment, and it's a tough ask to have them have to show you something.
It's also a tough ask for Beltran, and granted that's his job, but so this arm, the left arm, it's up.
Yeah.
Right. And this is the one that Ganskow's talking to him, talking about, is like just squeezed up against him, hard to move. Right.
Yeah.
And granted, like while it's like this, he probably could have gone like beep, but at that time, the only thing on his mind. Yeah. No. The only thing he's thinking about at that point in time is probably just
stay conscious.
Yeah, don't get choked out. Like, don't allow any more pressure to fall.
Yeah, and HW Comer says just let him go to sleep. I think Beltran thought he was asleep. I think that's what he thought. I'm guessing. I don't know, because he wasn't replying.
Maybe he could have given him a wink.
Yeah.
Just...
But, dude, how many times have you been in a tight choke where, my eyes are usually closed. If I'm getting choked like that and I'm just trying to stay calm, I'm not looking anywhere. My eyes I think I'd normally close my eyes in those moments. I think so, because you're just trying to stay calm and, like, at least for me.
I just fixate on one thing. But to your point,
that's what he's
like,
doing.
Exactly. I just fixate on one thing because I don't know. Like, I just don't want to do anything wrong from that point on to get choked out. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's tough, man. But the worst part, though, is through this, the ref makes a mistake. Cool. It happens. The problem is the unified rules literally don't have anything for when a ref makes a mistake. Like people were saying, look, there's a minute 30 left in the fight. He already won the first 2 rounds and was easily winning the 3rd round. How is that not like a technical win or something like that? A technical decision. Instead, they rule it a no contest because the rules literally don't have anything for if a ref has a mistake. They have rules for people were like, yeah, but if a fight ends in a foul and they're past the halfway mark or whatever that rule is, then it goes to decision and they drop the scorecards. But they don't have anything for if a ref makes a mistake. How do they not have that? It's crazy.
That's a good point.
It's nuts.
What would you do? Would you be like, hey, my bad, get back in that same position and go?
No,
what would you do?
That's a win. They stop the fight. Once you stop the fight like that, I think it should be over.
Yeah.
Unless
you ask Dominic Cruz, he wouldn't agree.
And maybe that's where you say, okay, there's a threshold, a time limit threshold where we do reset the fight. HB Comer says just do a power slap decision round in those cases.
If Dana White were to see that, he'd be like, you know what? That's a good idea. That's a really good idea.
Start watching it. We'll finally get some eyes on it. I don't have to keep lying about how it's breaking records for viewership.
Oh my God.
But maybe it's like, okay, if it's like the first half of the fight, then you reset the position. But if you're in the last round, there's a minute 30 left, and the ref calls the fight, how is it not a win? And they still haven't said if they're going to give Ogden his win money. It's crazy, dude. He lost half his paycheck because the ref made a mistake.
Yeah, that's jacked up. That's terrible. All right. Dude. Well, that was the last fight we were going to cover, Will.
Yep.
Do we have a moment of silence?
Yeah, moment of silence. We got a couple canceled fights. Nothing too crazy. Let's see. They should be in the slideshow. Let's see.
They are not in the slideshow.
Oh, snaps.
Not in the slideshow.
Hey, shout out Rich. Makes a rare appearance, huh?
Yeah. Let's see. We got Darius Flowers versus Otman Azatar that got canceled. Crazy that Otman Azatar still has a job with the UFC. Almeida versus Duncan. Almeida had to get surgery from an infection. Medic was originally supposed to fight Parsons. Parsons withdrew, so they give him Orolbai or Orolbai. Is that name? Orolbai?
Yeah, Orolbai.
Orolbai.
No, that's not a tough one compared to the ones that you see in one.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
Bro, you pronounce those perfectly. You can't pronounce Orolbai?
I did pronounce Orolbai. And then Jesse Butler was supposed to fight Jeka Saragih. Butler falls through, so then he gets Lucas Alexander and gets that knockout. So not too bad. And then
not bad at all.
Yeah, and then bonuses, we got let's see, Brendan Allen gets a bonus for choking out the Bear Jew. Amanda Ribas gets one for the wheel kick finish. Brito gets one for the finish of Pearce after he got up and did something. And then Lucas Alexander got knocked out by Jeka Saragih, and Saragih got a bonus for that as well. No fight of the night.
By the way, Brito actually asked for that bonus at the end, and he was pissed. He said, I deserve one of my last 3 fights. Give me my bonus this time. And they did. So good for him.
Ribas, Luana Pinheiro could have been... I thought they were in there in the slideshow, but oh well. I feel like there could have been a fight of the night, and they just didn't do it. I don't know why, but
yeah, I don't know.
But
what do we have going on next week?
Yeah, next week, what do we got? PFL, the boy
Olivier Aubin-Mercier.
Yeah, dude. I mean, this is there. If you don't watch the PFL, this is the PFL to watch. You know, you got the tournament championship versus Clay Collard versus Aubin-Mercier. Clay Collard's fucking sick, dude. I think we got Impa Kasangane, fighting in the finale there against Josh Silveira. We got the Swedish Denzel Washington. Sadibou Sai is fighting Magomed in a rematch for the tournament championship there. It's a good card, but the coolest part of this card is your boy Kai Wu making his PFL debut.
Friend of the podcast, Kai Wu. Let's go.
Let's go.
That should be a fun one, huh? Second fight on the card against Phil Caracappa.
Yeah. I have not seen him fight. I'll have to check out some of his fights.
Yeah, but that actually is going to be a fun card, man. We should check that one out.
It's a solid card, dude. What else do we have next week? We got PFL. We got Cage Warriors.
Hey, by the way, the poster, pretty sick.
It's a good poster, huh?
It's a really good poster.
Yeah, and then we got UFC is skipping no UFC until the 2nd of December. Is that right?
Bum, bum, bum.
Looks like we're covering PFL next week, huh?
Let's go. PFL
That's a good card, though, man. That UFC card, the next one, is good. But the PFL one is going to be sick. Hopefully they got their pacing in order because sometimes they don't.
Oh, this one's in Austin.
Oh, yeah. Looks like it, huh?
Maybe you fly over here, Will, and we go check it out live, huh? I'll take that as a no.
You're going to pay for the flight?
All right. On that note, it's my birthday, Will. Yeah. All right. Hey, shout out HLB Comer, Gans Cow. We had Colleen joining us as well, the Fly Looper. Who else? Tony. We had Josh joining us also. Man, a lot of fun whenever we have everybody hopping on with us.
Yeah, and HLB Comer, yes. Andrew Tosti, he fought last night at A1 Combat, made his pro debut. Unfortunately, got submitted. He lost the fight. But if there's any silver lining or upside, the guy he lost to is the jiu-jitsu coach at Team Alpha Male. Has cornered UFC fighters, has a national championship win in jiu-jitsu. So very tough debut opponent for Toasty. Looked pretty good, but yeah, unfortunately, ultimately got subbed. But
yeah, shout out Toasty, by the way.
Shout out Toasty. Walked out with the fucking HB Comer says, I bet it was a curly motherfucker. But he walked out with the story of the fight shirt, dude. Fucking awesome.
Oh, that was
shout out
sick,
Andrew,
man.
dude. Shout out Andrew.
He's a real one, dude. All right. Well, hey, thanks everybody once again for joining us. Always a blast whenever we get everybody that's chatting it up with us live.
Hey, shout out
if you know anybody,
fight T-shirt. Let's go.
What happened?
Ganscow just got a shirt.
Oh, I love it. Appreciate the support there. Hey, just so everybody knows, we make like 50 cents off the shirts. Like the only reason that we don't make any money. The only reason we have those on there is hopefully somebody's wearing the shirt somewhere out there and somebody says, hey, what's that? Tell us about it. You tell them, you know, whether it's a mom, an auntie, a cousin, tell them to join and watch us live. But hopefully we continue having the podcast grow. We're trying to reach 10,000 subscribers. By the way, we always talk about telling your friends, right, that we had a podcast. I do a terrible job of that. Last night, I'm hanging with the Leos family, and they're like, wait, what? You have a podcast? And I was like, I do such a bad job of promoting the podcast. But yes, yes, I do. But yeah, so thank you everybody for the support.
What we need is like a social media manager who just like runs the Instagram. Because like, when's the last time you posted on the Instagram?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't even know the last
it's
time.
Been a minute. It's been a minute.
Like, we're not good at it, dude.
We're not. We're terrible at it.
Yeah.
But we are decent at talking fights. So thank you everybody for joining us. You know, and you know what else we're decent at? Is producing the show. And you know why? We have this guy that produces the show named Richard Bustos, dude. Produced by Richard Bustos. There it is. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us for another week of Story of the Fight.